Jonathan, could you say in a sentence or so just who you are and how you're connected to Doug Engelbart?
My name is Jonathan Cheyer. I met Doug at one of the dinner party, and I, of course, had heard of him as being the inventor of the mouse, but not much more at that time. And as I was speaking with some of the people at the party, I heard all kinds of wonderful stories about all the other things that had been done by him and his team at the time. And I was amazed to find out that the system was not out and available for anyone. And I said, how could such an amazing system not be available?
And what system is that?
This is the NLS system, later Augment.
NLS standing for?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure I know the answer what NLS actually stands for, though there are probably plenty of other people here who do.
Online system.
Online system, correct. That's right. It was O and then the N, L. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
And what was that system? What did it do?
It did a number of things that I was pretty impressed about. Of course, it was one of the earliest uses of hypertext, but I was also impressed by the fact that the whole system was sort of built in and of itself. A language was invented to program the system that was used for NLS. An editor was built that was actually used to hold the source code that was used to build NLS. So it was a very sort of recursively built system. Of course, there was use of the mouse. There was use of the corded key set, which I was fascinated to find out.
Did you ever work directly with Doug?
I did. I worked actually in two different projects with him. First, I became interested in trying to find a way to get the system out and available to people, so I embarked on a project with the Computer History Museum and Doug to try to get a copy of the source code, and then we were able to leverage a PDP emulator, a PDP-10 emulator for Linux that I used to then move some of the NLS Augment system files to a Linux machine. And then I worked myself on writing a driver for the corded key set that could then be, through some adapter cables, could plug into a PC and do the corded key set through NLS.
What was Doug like to work with?
Oh, he was fascinating. I was very intimidated at first. I mean, I felt, here I am, this young engineer, I don't know anything, and why is he spending any time with me at all? But as I'm sure many other people here today will say, I mean, he's always been very, very generous with his time. He was always interested to listen to me and ask me my opinion about things. And, you know, he would, very humble, he'd always say, oh, you know, I'm sure you can teach me all these things. And I said, me? It's not impossible. I don't possibly know anything that you don't already know. So it's been wonderful.
Was he always focused on his long-term vision?
Well, of course. I mean, he was focused on that, but he was willing to take time to let me learn about things that he's done in the past and sort of kind of get up to speed. You know, I'm you know, 50, 60, 70 years behind some of the work that he had done, and so he gave me that opportunity to really start to understand a little bit more about the work he's done, and then eventually, of course, to try and continue building systems that would help further some of his ideas.
What do you think was the most important thing about his accomplishments?
Well, obviously there's the technical side, but I believe really on the humanity side as well. I mean, having had that opportunity to work with him, it given me a sense of a role model and a mentor in a sense. I've worked with many technical people during my career, and many of the people that are sort of, you know, amazing genius level people with visionary types are not always that great to work with personally. So you almost have to kind of accept that and manage that. And I was really surprised to see just how warm and forthcoming and generous Doug was, not just with me, but watching him around many other people. And you know, and that inspires me. So I always make a note to myself, you know, always make sure that you spend that kind of time with anyone else coming up in the field asking you questions, and give them that opportunity as well.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about Doug or your association with him?
I'm just so happy I had that opportunity to know him. I've knew him for about 10 years, and I'm sorry that he had to go, and I'm going to miss him.